Travis Victor Alexander, a sales representative from the United States, tragically lost his life at the hands of his former girlfriend, Jodi Ann Arias, in his Mesa, Arizona home. He was found with numerous stab wounds and a fatal headshot. Travis Alexander, born on July 28, 1977, had a traumatized childhood. He and his 6 siblings had a challenging upbringing due to their parents' substance abuse, and they faced physical abuse from their mother. At age 10, Travis and his siblings moved in with their grandmother, seeking a safer environment. As he grew older, Travis managed to turn his life around. He embraced Mormonism, establishing a sense of stability and community. He secured employment with prepaid legal services, working as a salesman. It was during a company event in Las Vegas in September 2006 that Travis crossed paths with Jodi Arias for the first time. Initially believing he had found his soulmate, Travis was unaware that this encounter would ultimately lead to a tragic end at the hands of Arias. Alexander and Arias, a fair-haired independent photographer, spent the entire night until 4 a.m. engaged in deep conversation. The following morning, Alexander couldn't help but express to his friends that he believed he had found his future wife. Their bond initially appeared solid despite the geographical distance, with Arias residing in Palm Desert, California, and Alexander in Mesa, Arizona. They explored the Southwest together, and Arias even embraced Mormonism just a few months into their relationship with Alexander. However, it wasn't long before signs of trouble started to emerge. Travis Alexander's initial happiness in his relationship with Jodi Arias was overshadowed by feelings of remorse. Their engagement in premarital intimate activities conflicted with the teachings of the Mormon Church. Moreover, many of Alexander's friends began to think that Arias had an unhealthy obsession with Alexander. She eavesdropped on his conversations, looked through his emails and social media accounts, and even forwarded emails between Alexander and other women to herself. I started seeing things that were just disturbing.
I said, Travis, I'm afraid we're going to find you chopped up in her freezer.
Sky Lovingear Hughes, one of Alexander's friends, said. From very early on, she was completely obsessed with him. While Alexander maintained that Jodi Arias was decent and affirmed his fondness for her, he ultimately chose to terminate their relationship. Overwhelmed by guilt from engaging in premarital intimate relations, Alexander needed to part ways with Arias. However, despite their official separation, they remained in touch and saw each other. This made Arias's obsession with Alexander even worse. As he started seeing other women, Alexander told friends that Arias slashed his tires, hacked into his Facebook, and harassed the women he went out with. Sometimes, she even snuck into his house. Their relationship had become increasingly toxic. Texts and emails between the two from May 2008 suggest that Alexander and Arias had a huge fight, with Alexander calling Arias a sociopath. Alexander even told his friends, "Don't be surprised if you find me dead one day." On June 9th, after several unsuccessful attempts to contact Alexander, his worried friends decided to visit his residence. Having not seen him for a few days, his friends assumed he was traveling and didn't suspect anything unusual. Upon discovering a key to Alexander's bedroom, the group made a horrifying discovery: large bloodstains leading to the master bathroom and Alexander's lifeless body in the shower. In the subsequent 911 call, which the jury did not hear, the dispatcher inquired about the possibility of Alexander hurting himself, or if anyone might have a motive to harm him. Alexander's friends immediately suggested Arias as a potential suspect, recounting how Alexander had shared her psychopath behaviors.
Has he been threatened by anyone recently?
Yes, he has. Okay. He has an ex-girlfriend that's been bothering him and following him and slashing tires and things like that.
And do you know the ex-girlfriend's name?
Her name is Jodi.
During the police investigation at Alexander's house, they found his new digital camera damaged inside the washing machine. Remarkably, the police retrieved deleted images of Arias and Alexander in intimate poses, time-stamped at around 1:40 p.m. on June 4th. The last photo of Alexander alive, captured in the shower, was taken at 5:29 p.m. the same day. Subsequent images depicted a scene of Alexander bleeding heavily on the bathroom floor. A bloodied palm print found along the bathroom hallway contained DNA from Arias and Alexander. On July 9, 2008, a grand jury in Maricopa County, Arizona, charged Arias with the first-degree murder of Alexander. She was arrested at her residence 6 days afterward and was extradited to Arizona on September 5th. Arias entered a not guilty plea on September 11th, Throughout this period, she offered various conflicting statements regarding her involvement in Alexander's death. Initially, she denied being in Mesa on the day of the murder, claiming her last encounter with Alexander was in March 2008. Later, she changed her story, alleging that 2 intruders had invaded Alexander's home, resulting in his murder and her assault. 2 years post-arrest, Arias asserted that she had killed Alexander in self-defense, alleging a history of domestic abuse. Arias took the stand to defend herself on February 4, 2013, providing testimony over 18 days. Criminal defense attorney Mark Garagos remarked on the unusual length of her testimony. Arias shared her experiences of abuse from her parents and detailed her intimate relationship with Alexander. A phone recording played in court revealed explicit conversations between Arias and Alexander. Arias claimed Alexander had pedophilic tendencies, which she tried to help him with, and described their relationship as increasingly abusive. Alice Laviolette, a domestic violence expert, testified that Arias was a victim of abuse, noting that many victims do not speak out due to shame. The defense pointed to emails between Alexander and his friends, Chris and Sky Hughes, though the judge deemed them hearsay. The emails suggested Alexander discouraged Arias from pursuing a relationship and admitted to manipulative behavior. Several of Alexander's other girlfriends testified, stating they never witnessed any violent behavior from him. Psychologist Richard Samuels testified for the defense, suggesting Arias was under acute stress during the incident, causing memory loss. He diagnosed her with PTSD, a diagnosis contested by the prosecution's expert, Jodi Ann Arias, who diagnosed Arias with borderline personality disorder instead. The defense also called psychologist Robert Geffner, who supported Samuel's diagnosis. The trial saw 3 jurors dismissed for various reasons. In the end, Arias was found guilty of first-degree murder, with the jury unable to reach a unanimous decision on the death penalty. The sentencing retrial began on October 21, 2014, with new evidence and testimonies presented. However, the jury again stayed firm on the death penalty, leading to a life imprisonment sentence for Arias without the possibility of parole. The trial, which garnered significant media attention and public commentary, also saw substantial activity and discussion on social media, with some participants facing threats and harassment. Post-verdict, Arias's legal team filed an appeal, citing misconduct by prosecutor Juan Martinez. However, the court upheld her conviction, stating the evidence of her guilt was overwhelming. As of 2023, Arias is serving her sentence at the Arizona State Prison Complex, Perryville. The trial and its aftermath sparked widespread media coverage and public interest, with many networks and social media platforms extensively covering the proceedings and the individuals involved. What do you think of this case? Was there any chance for Alexander to stay alive? Let us know in the comments below. Subscribe to share your support, and we'll see you in the next one.